All right, everybody. Hey, welcome. My name is Alan Thomas, and I have Rethink Dieting. And I've got with me tonight new Rethink Dieting client, Mr. Sean Wiggins from St. Mary's, Kingsland, Georgia area. And Sean, introduce yourself to everybody. Let them know who you are, a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, I'm Sean Wiggins. I'm originally from New Jersey, Roseland, New Jersey, and right now I reside in St. Mary's, Georgia, right next to Jacksonville and Amelia Island, Florida. And I've been on program for quite a few weeks now, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's glad to have you. And the reason I wanted Sean to come on here, guys, is I don't have guests that often, but Sean's been with me with Rethink Dieting for I think 46 days, something like that. I think it is. And what's in Sean's, and I have to say this, disclaimer. I mean, Sean's an extraordinary individual. As are all my Rethink Dining clients. They're all extraordinary. But he's Sean, what did you start at? I'm gonna let you say it. That's weight wise.
I started about 434, 432, somewhere in there.
Yeah. 434 is what I had down. That's what started. And you're how tall?
5'10".
5'10". That's right. And when you and I met, we lived fairly close in proximity. We'd never met each other. We met online, and you heard about the program, and so it's pretty cool. And one of the concepts of my program, and guys, for those of you that don't know my story, in 2017 I stepped on the scale at 304 pounds after trying about 1,000. Well, it wasn't 1,000. It was dozens and dozens of diets. And I realized it was never the diet that was going to change me. It was a decision. And in 260 days, I'd lost 129 pounds. And I don't say any of that to impress anybody. Just I know what it's like to be obese. I'm 5'11". And when I met Sean, I knew Sean was special. He's special in a good way, and he had the desire to get there. And it was just funny. But tell everybody some of what you've gone through that got you to 434. But now you're coming down from that. But give the folks that are watching this a little bit of perspective on kind of how you got there. I know you had some physical things that happened to you that were out of your control. You've had a lot of that, and just give them a little bit of perspective on that.
Okay. Well, going back to 2017, I used to walk about 4 miles a day, and I travel for a living. I do a lot of business travel outside the U.S. And I was on a trip in Niagara Falls, New York, and I was going for an evening walk at the waterfalls in Niagara Falls, New York. And as I was going out there, I slipped on some black ice, and I tore muscles from my knee all the way up into my abdomen. And so that became the beginning of my weight gain. Because of my injury, I wasn't able to really sleep in the bed. I basically slept in a chair for almost 2.5 years, and I gained a ton of weight. Probably gained over 200 pounds by not being able to really move. I went back and forth to doctors. They never did surgery on my back. Of course, with muscle tears, they just have to heal. They can't put a cast on it. They can't really do anything. So I was basically left on my own with these injuries, and I just didn't know how to deal with them. And as a result, I gained a ton of weight because I couldn't walk very far. So anytime that I did walk, I was walking to sit down. So because my back would tighten up, and it was just really, really difficult to move. So I thought that I was going to be disabled for the rest of my life. The doctors couldn't help me. They wanted to do pain injections. I kind of refused that. I didn't want to get into that. I wanted to be healed so I can get my life back and be active and play tennis and play golf. My daughter was a golfer, and and a tennis player, and I couldn't do any of those things with her because of my injuries. So, so basically, that's my story of how I gained the weight.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know much about my program, I mean, Rethink Dieting. One of the first things I tell individuals, and I told Sean this, and I'm real open about it, is I'm never going to tell you what to eat or what exercise to do. And Sean was a little bit of a unique case in the respect that he had never been on any kind of structured eating plan whatsoever. Right, Sean? Would that be accurate to say?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So when I told Sean that, I got a little bit of pushback from him, but he said, but we walked through kind of the process of the Rethink Dieting process that first week, and lo and behold, Sean did figure it out. And first week he was down, I believe it was 6 pounds his first week. So,
right.
But what's been incredible is that, the whole idea here is to become an expert on you. If diets, listen, you've got to change what you eat. You've got to change how you move. There's no doubt about it. This is no magic pill. I don't wave a wand. I didn't go up to St. Mary's, Georgia and wave a wand over Sean or anything like that and throw pixie dust on him to get things going. But what Sean did is he leaned into the mindset shifting that we go through in the Rethink Dieting process. And what was incredible was I didn't know that Sean had not. Now you're down what, 21, 22 pounds in 46 days, I think it is. Is it about right?
Yep, 22. Yep.
22 pounds. Got a long way to go. So we're early in the journey. But one of the reasons I love Sean's story is because, I think especially as men, we have this desire to win and to be a hero in our own story. And Sean's got a lot of people following him. He's got a lot of people watching his progress. And he posted something that I saw that really touched me. I didn't realize, Sean, you had not walked without assistance in how long?
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. And so tell everybody what's going on now compared to that from just the actual physical movement you're doing. And I never told you any exercise to do either, did I?
No.
That's right. So what do you do? I said, well, it's not pixie dust either, but go ahead. Tell everybody, kind of compare where you were walking, and you give everybody a little taste of it, and moving to what you're doing now, and kind of what your doctors are saying about it too, early in the stage.
Well, as far as walking, I'll just give you an example of my how it changed my travel life. So when I go to airports, normally I would always walk to the gate, no problem. I didn't even think about it. Get to where I'm going and get to a rental car, or get to my hotel. And with this injury, that changed. Get to the airport, and I needed a wheelchair assistance to get to the gate. And then I had to, spend extra money all the time to, like, for example, going to conventions in Las Vegas, I would need to rent a scooter for the week in order to, get, to and from the convention floor. Because, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Vegas, but the convention floors are probably about a mile away, walking distance indoors away from where the rooms are. So not only did this affect me physically, my injuries and the weight gain, it also affected me mentally, because who wants to ride on a scooter? Who wants to ride in a wheelchair? So I've been basically, walking with assistance for about 3 years. So fast forward to the program with Alan. After the first week, I started taking some risks and felt lighter. I felt, pretty good, to the point where I built up the courage to walk out the front door and not turn around. So I guess my first couple of days testing my body, only 6 pounds slimmer, I just decided to walk further and further every day, just making sure that I wouldn't injure myself, making sure that I wasn't out on the street and having to crawl home. So I built up confidence, and And then just to give you an idea of the measurement, when you look at all of last year, the average number of steps that I would take a day was about 500. Now, the average steps a day, it went from 1,000, 1,200, 2,300, and then I finally reached the mark of 5,000 steps a day.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal is to get back to normal, which I was doing about 10,000 steps a day, or 4 to 5 miles walking, and so I feel like I'm on my way now.
Oh, man, no, and I didn't, I had no idea that you hadn't been mobile. We talked a lot about that, but what we work on is the mindset of what you've got to do, because this is not about an exercise program. It's not about a diet. It's really about a decision. And Sean made a decision that he, committed to something, and we never even discussed exercise, because, the biggest exercise that I, strongly encourage is, control that fort. And I think what's pretty cool, Thanksgiving week, I don't know, I should know this, but it's, what the average weight gain Thanksgiving week is. But Sean, you lost weight Thanksgiving. You did and a lot of, the men, I just got off the phone with another client in North Carolina. He's, lost weight over, I said, who does that? Who loses weight over Thanksgiving? so
Right.
and what's incredible about Sean's story is it was never the diet. Now, has he had to learn some things? You answer, Sean. Have you had to learn a few things about yourself?
Basically, you have to learn that it's not about a diet. It's not about any fads or anything like that. It's basically looking at the man in the mirror. It's you versus you.
That's it.
And then when you take on that challenge of you versus you, things start to shift. You see a shift in the way that you think. You see a shift in the way that you feel. And then ultimately, I saw a shift in all 3 categories, including the way that I move. So pretty thankful.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And the people that you've got watching you through the process too, I mean, they're being encouraged to make changes. And because I think, it's like I call Sean all my guys are superheroes, and because it takes a lot of courage to really face that guy in the mirror, and I know what that's like. And there's probably some men that are listening and to this, and that struggle with their weight. And I talk to guys every single day that don't believe they can ever get their weight off. And Sean had every excuse in the world not to take action. He had every excuse in the world. He could have legitimately said, well, I can't do this. I don't know anything about diet. I don't know anything about it. I can't exercise. I canned himself right into, oblivion. But he didn't do that. And what's incredible is he's now, like I said, I had no idea about that, because I don't tell guys what I say, do what your doctor recommends. Don't, I'm not a doctor. But it's really about getting your thinking shifted. And then it starts affecting every area of your life and the people around you. And I believe, this is unscripted, guys. It's just me and Sean talking. We discussed a little bit at the beginning. I was made sure he's okay with us saying weight and that kind of thing, but down 21 pounds or 22 pounds in 46 days. I mean, it's pretty freaking incredible. Didn't have any idea, never been on a structured diet plan. I didn't tell him the diet plan, to be honest. But somehow, some way, it became important enough to him that he took control of his health, took control of his weight, took control of his life. And, he's got, looking behind him, he's got those pictures from his family, that's kind of art I've got on my wall, those are hand drawings of my kids when they're young. And Sean just leaned into the fact that his life is more than what's on the plate in front of him. It's more important. And because Sean's a young man, you mind saying your age, Sean? You can tell everybody. I won't tell it for you. I'll let you tell them.
Oh, I turned 52 in September.
Yeah. So in my world, I'm 59. So that's a young man. You're a young man. And so when we get to these age like this, whether you're 32 or 22 or 52, and this thing called morbid obesity that Sean and I both experienced. And Sean's now moved into, where are you headed with your weight, Sean? Tell everybody, because I'll let you tell that. Where are you headed to?
Back to my football weight, 185.
185. And people say,
Yep.
oh, come on, Sean, how are you going to do that? You're 52 years old. How are you going to go there? And so what would you say to that? What would you say to somebody who's doubting right now that you're going to make that weight?
Watch me.
There you go. Magic 2 words. That's it. That's it. And so it's so cool to see it. And I mean, tell everybody, what's your family saying? I mean, like I said, this isn't scripted. I don't know what Sean's going to say here. What's your family saying? What's the reaction of the people that are watching you?
Well, family, people that are close to me, they're not really, they see me every day, so they don't really see the shift. But I can tell you that I had a doctor's appointment, and I walked in that office, and they were in shock that, that I had lost weight, especially when I got on the scale. And one of the reasons is because, one of my favorite, I guess it's not my favorite, but my least favorite part of going to the doctor was getting on the scale, because I noticed every time I went back, I was getting larger and larger. The weight was getting heavier and heavier, and it's kind of depressing when you see that. So this time went back, and I was 11. At the time when I had my appointment, I was about 11 pounds down. So they were all in shock. So my test results came back, and blood pressure was a lot better, and all of my vitals were a lot better, and they couldn't find anything really to work on other than just to keep telling me to keep doing whatever I'm doing. So that was a blessing to me, to finally walk into the doctor's office and see the scale go down versus up. And so that made me feel really good. And then also, I didn't need to have to think about how I was going to get from the car to the appointment. My doctor's on Amelia Island, Alan, and it's at the hospital right there in Fernandina Beach. And so it's not even a long walk; it's a short walk from the parking lot to the doctor's office inside the hospital. And I used to really have to think and use the strategy of where I was going to sit in order to make it to the appointment. But this time, being 11 pounds lighter, when I walked into that office, I basically was floating into the office. I didn't have to take any breaks. I didn't have to put a strategy together to get from point A to point B. I just walked in like a normal person, and that was a blessing. So I don't take, sometimes when people think about walking to a doctor's appointment, that's not really a big deal. But when you lose the ability to walk normal, it becomes a big deal when you're able to overcome a physical challenge and get back to normal. So that's a blessing to me. And then one other thing I want to say is that I'm a giver. I love giving to my family. And this process, I'll just tell you that it forced me to be selfish really for the first time in my life, meaning that I had to focus on me. And then by focusing on me and mastering me, then I'm able to bless my family by, getting back to normal to do the things that I used to do. So it's I know that sounds weird, but by me being selfish, focusing on me, not making any excuses, looking directly at the man in the mirror, holding myself accountable, ultimately is the best gift that I can give my family. So that's a kind of a strange parable.
No, it's really not. I mean, it's like when you get on the airliner, and the reason they say that, that when the stewardess comes on and gives the instructions, if we lose cabin pressure and you've got somebody that needs help beside you, put your mask on first. And as men, we think that to not take care of yourself is really being selfish. To be a giver, it truly is what you're doing right now. You're sacrificing maybe you're sacrificing some bites of food. Clearly, a lot of them that you would like to have back 2 months ago. and now you're sacrificing that for your family so that you're really giving them you, and how much, I mean, that's priceless, man. And so yeah, man, it's so much fun to watch it, and I get giddy about this stuff because I know, here's what I know that I felt hopeless at 304. I know you might have felt hopeless at 434. We put on a smile. I mean, how many times have you put on a smile and just, made fun of yourself or something like that, and you people watch it just like I did. I did the same thing. And it's so neat when you see somebody that's like you, that's stepping into it. You're taking responsibility. You're taking ownership for it. You're not trying to get the easy way out. But the process that Sean's going through, the same process I put all my guys through, it's very simple. It is not easy. And so when people say to me, well, I'm looking for something, I'm not your guy. I'm not. And I told Sean that early on. I said, man, you got to have step up and be the Navy SEAL type level that you are, because underneath those pounds that you're dropping very rapidly, while it may not seem that rapid to you, Sean, I mean, it is rapid, and you're doing it healthy. You're not doing crazy stuff. You're doing what the doctor approves of. But at the end of the day, none of that solved it before, and now the way you've shifted your thinking, you're headed to that 185-pound guy that you always have been, and your family. I mean, I think about your daughter, I think you've got a daughter in the military, or was in the military. Is that right?
Yeah, my oldest daughter. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you got a younger daughter, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And so they need, the greatest gift you can give them is you, and and so it's incredible. So guys that are watching that feel hopeless, let me tell you, if I can do this, anybody can do this. If Sean can do this, anybody can do this. Would you agree, Sean?
Oh yeah, I look at this as you can compare it to the game of golf, right?
Not very good at golf, so don't compare to that. I'm kidding.
Well, if you think about it, you go in and you're shooting in the hundreds, and the basic goal of the game is to go under. You want to go under par. So I'm setting pars and trying to go under. So I want to see myself negative every week. My net loss or net gain, I want to see it under. So, and I just compare it to the game of golf, because that's one sport where even though there might be a field and other players, you're really it's really you versus you. And the goal is to get lower and lower, and the lowest score wins.
That's right. No, it's
that simple.
No, it's incredible. Thank you for being here. But before we go, I mean, what would you say to the guy? And I don't, again, this isn't scripted. We didn't sit down and write a script for this. This is Sean and I talking. What would you? I talk to the guy that I used to be, a lot when I'm on these Facebook Lives and all. But what would you say to the guy who you used to be? Who's maybe sitting there and he's not as mobile as he used to be, maybe, or maybe he's mobile, but he's morbidly obese like you and I've both been, and you're coming out of that, so that you're not that guy anymore. You're just shedding that weight. So, but what would you say to that guy who maybe feels like it is hopeless, and that he can't do it? What would you say to him?
Well, basically, if you try and never stop trying, just keep swinging every day, keep moving, and keep setting goals, and watch yourself conquer those goals. You're gonna be, number one, you're gonna be able to walk normal again, and travel like you used to. Maybe even go to Europe and you're gonna be able to take your daughter back to ride roller coasters in Belgium and Germany, and don't be afraid to try. And then number one is really part of that process is being able to look in the mirror and not being afraid of the mirror, because when you gain a lot of weight, you don't even look at yourself in the mirror because you're afraid of what you might say. So you can't be afraid of your own reflection. And then sometimes that reflection, if you hold yourself accountable and tell yourself that, you know what, I'm the architect of me, And I'm going to be like I'm going to transform myself just like a sculptor transforms a stone, and I'm just going to chisel away. It doesn't come with one day, but I'm going to chisel away, and within this body, I'll find the old me if I keep trying and chiseling away. So I'm going to be the Michelangelo of me. I'm going to paint the picture that I want to see, and it's going to become my reality.
I love that. No, that's it, and it all starts right between those ears, and that's where the power is. And so, guys, if this resonates with you, and you want some help, I do a free breakthrough session at transformmyfuture.com/apply. transformmyfuture.com/apply. You can go to YouTube to Rethink Dieting, and you can see a lot of videos and stuff. But Sean and I met, even though he lives very close, we met online. We didn't know each other, never crossed each other's path. It was just really one of those things. He's my brother from another mother, and we're just alike. And I say that sincerely because this is what I know to be true. And you guys that are watching this, if you've given up hope, it's not hopeless. I'm not for everybody. The program I have is kind of the Navy SEALs of dieting. So it's not for everybody. Sean, you got to be somebody who really wanting to take a step into their future in a big way. But when the thing that I look so forward to with Sean, and he's already discovering some of this, and I'm telling you, this may sound a little woo-woo, but there's a vein of gold running through every one of you guys that are obese. There's one running through Sean, and as you start peeling those layers back, man, that gold starts to show. You pick up little nuggets along the way, but at 185, there's something coming for Sean. I have no idea what it is, but I can't wait. I get God bumps when I think about it. I can't wait as he's going to call me, say it happened, Alan, and I don't know what it is. It'll probably have nothing to do with your weight. It'll probably have nothing to do with exercise and all these different things. It'll have to do with what your weight was holding you back from. And that's the real question. So guys, transformmyfuture.com/apply. You can watch my free masterclass at rethinkdieting.com. And guys, have a great evening. Sean, thank you so much for being with us. And keep on rocking. You're going to be losing weight through the holidays. That's insane. Nobody does that. Who loses weight through the holidays? You're supposed to. Everybody gains weight, but you don't have to. That's it. Well, you're getting a big jump start on New Year's, right? So, and his won't be a resolution. That's right. His will be a solution. So, all right, guys. Well, have a great evening. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.